wasn't that fun? All right, so maybe this won't be the best guitar lesson ever, but I'm going to show you a couple things that were light bulbs for me. I'm going to be referencing the 3 notes per scale sheet. Gotta get one of these. Just go to Google, say 3 notes per string scale, and we have all the modes and whatnot. And if you watched any of my other videos, I don't play modes just straight up and down a whole lot vertically. I tend to play them horizontally. Look for the shapes, and in fact, get the diatonic scale out to help you as well. But look for the shapes that allow you to use the half note intervals. That's when 2 fingers are real close together. So instead of a big stretch like this, like with the Mixolydian or the major scale, either one of those, they have a big stretch. Take advantage of small gaps so that you can keep your fingers closer together and avoid some of those big stretches. Now, the big stretches look cool, and they certainly have their place, especially if you're walking up 3 steps forward, 2 steps back, or 2 up, 1 step back, and you progressively go up. They work out well for that. But you really can cover a whole lot more ground if you will look for shapes that are 2 or 3 octave in nature within those modes. It goes from one mode through 3 or 4. So when you end up at the high side, you're in 4 modes later, 4 modes down the list. All right, so whoa, that's really loud. So, I'm going to use my JHS black amp box to take that from an ear-splitting level to something that to something much more appropriate, which is about that. One of the coolest things ever is this little amp box by JHS. Be doing a little review on that later for attenuation. Absolutely love it. I like it better than the Bugera Power Soak. All right, so the riff we got going is turn that down a little more. It's a Aeolian riff in A. It's just A, B, C, and then D, and it repeats. And so the first thing is just behold the power of the octave. Paul Gilbert does several lessons on the power of an octave. Whatever lick you're playing, you can get away with playing it an octave higher than the melody, and then even go up another octave. And the weird thing is your brain, perhaps, unless you're a guitar player, but for most people, the brain doesn't know, oh, well, you're just playing the same thing in a different octave, I'm bored. Your brain hears that as going up in pitch, and it just is delighted all over again, even though you're playing the same darn thing in just a different octave. The people listening to it think, oh, this guy's great. So the first bit is just, we're here at A, 2 strings up and 2 frets higher. Anywhere you do that is an octave higher. Unless you're on the B string, then it's 3 frets up, 2 strings higher. So we're just A, B, C, and then we change the tempo. All right, and then we need to go to another octave higher, play the same thing. So here we're at A here on our high E string. If you have an A here, you have an A here, same note. Then we're going to do the same thing. So now one of the things is that I'd like to show you is how do we get from one octave to the next octave? Do we just fake it? No, you don't. All right, so check it out. We have Aeolian right here. It's our Aeolian scale. If we have Aeolian there, then we're going to have Mixolydian here. And then we have Lydian, and then down here we have Phrygian. So So anytime you're playing Aeolian stuff in the key of A, you can always count on the E notes containing the, well, in E, Phrygian is going to be played in your E roots. Okay, you with me so far? Aeolian in A, Mixolydian, and if you'll notice that Mixolydian right there is the same notes as are in our melody when we started up with an octave, okay? So when we go up from one octave to the next, we're just going to take a ride on that Mixolydian scale. Okay, easy enough. So that's how you know to get from one thing to another. You need to know that you're an Aeolian on A, Phrygian's down here in Mixolydian, and then whatever section of the Mixolydian scale is available in that area, just use that shape to get from one octave to the next octave. Now, another cool thing about guitar, and Paul Gilbert will tell you this as well, love Paul Gilbert, he has made the point several times that it really doesn't matter what you play between the roots, as long as you hit the right note when you should on the dominant beat. What you do in between doesn't really matter. It can be just random noise, and again, as long as you hit the right note when you should, your brain doesn't care. It thinks it's all good. Ronnie Latecra of TNT knows this. The guy sounds like a darn pinball machine on tilt sometimes, but he hits the right notes when he should. Yngwie knows this, Satriani knows this, everybody knows this, and it's the key to playing live, because sometimes playing live, it's awfully hard to replicate some of the things you've done in the studio. So a lot of it, with some gain and delay, you can fake, but you still need to hit some of those main notes when you should. All right, so we're headed up the neck. I do this just to get me up to the top part of the neck. And then we're going to go with Phrygian. Remember I said Phrygian in E. That's up here. That's a nice melodic piece that comes down. Gets us back to A. All right. If I was doing the Phrygian from low E. Phrygian. Alright, but I'm going to stop on A because that's what our melody is in. It's in A. So now that I'm on A, I have free will I'm at liberty to go to any A I'd like to go to and start back up. Well, being that this is Aeolian, it allows us to not only be in our pentatonic mode if we want, although it really doesn't fit the style, but we could play that. But this is what I want you to remember. Anytime you can play a root pentatonic on the low E string, you can also play one of my favorite ascending shapes from the harmonic minor scale. And I did a video on this. Here's our A root. We're going to start a half note back. That gives it that beautiful minor flavor, and we're going to alternate 1, 2, 4, 1, 3, 4 all the way up the strings, moving up a fret each time till we get to the B string, and we're moving up 2 frets. 1, 2, 4, 1, 3, 4, 1, 2, 4, 1, 3, 4, up 2 frets. That's good. Okay, so that's a harmonic shape. It's a great way to get from someplace to someplace else. We used it to get up here to E. Now we need to hit A root. So we're going to do that here, and I'm not a real good tapper. I don't tap a lot these days. Used to tap quite a bit back in the days with Eddie. But we're just going to respect our intervals. You do have to respect all those intervals. and you can check out videos on intervals. But we're going to do that, and we just tap here, and then we're going to go to the, basically a pentatonic in E. And then we slide up 2 more, and back down. I didn't go to E. Stops at A. And then that's pretty much it. I did do some pentatonic stuff. All right, so you got to know your modes. Try to work your modes lengthwise along the neck. Try to find shapes that allow you to utilize the half note intervals, because that'll make your fingering a lot easier. This one's in Aeolian, Mixolydian is here. If you need to, anytime you can play Aeolian in A, Phrygian is going to be in E, and that comes up. That's a valuable shape to know when you're up in here. And then behold the octave. Coolest thing in the world, and so easy. And you're just following along with the melody. And then to get from one octave to the next, you use whatever interval or whatever mode is in the area. All right? So those were some light bulbs for me. I wondered, well, how do they know what to do when they go from one octave to the next? Do they just fake it? And of course not. They don't fake it. There's some theory behind it. So, enjoy. Hope this is helpful to you all. Somebody a while back in a video suggested I put more money into some tempo things and lessons and things like that. Or the question was, how much money have you spent on tempo and lesson stuff? And I know my videos are I'm a hack guitarist at home, and I don't put out a lot real polished production stuff. But I do have a little bit of knowledge in the area, and I enjoy the journey, and I'd like to share it with people who really have the talent to produce. The more I've learned about guitar and modes and some theory, the more I've realized that I'm missing a critical component, and that is putting the notes together in meaningful ways. I can play the notes, I know where to play, I can tell you about the modes, but being able to do something really pretty with them or interesting with them is something special. Anyway, maybe this will help you with some things. If my house was burning down and I had to take something other than the family, the dogs, or the important papers, I would take the Wolfgang and the Mesa. Love it. Love this new JHS Black Ant box. Super cool. My tempo was 147 today. I had a tribal rock tone from my Boss drum machine. Using the Behringer Echo machine for the delay. I've got the OCD on for lead tone through the Mesa. And Shangri-La. Shangri-La. All right. Y'all take care. Ciao.